And hello again. Following up my video about ncdu and duff, there is another video I wanted to make about dust. These are all kind of around the same things, and they all work together in a way. Dust is filling a gap where you want to check things, especially in some kind of tree, and you want to see in a blink which files are big, which files are doing this, that, and so on. You can do similar things using ISA, but it will be a bit more complex in terms of what you will need to filter and not necessarily better. So I suggest you try Dust. It's pretty cool and neat. This one is written in Rust, like the others I made in this series, like FD, like ISA, and like ripgrep. Rust is known to be very quick and avoiding bugs because it's kind of built in an error-free way, mostly. And this is a great rewriting programming language because it allows to remake old tools into some more modern, precise, nice and efficient ways. So this is the case here. So for instance, in this case, let's see, I'm on this container. I'm using the same container, LXC container that I've been using for ncdu and duff. And for instance, okay, here I haven't installed duff. By the way, it's a bit different if you install it, depending where you install it. So if you want it to be portable and to install it the same way everywhere, you can use cargo, right, on Linux, because cargo will allow you to install Rust stuff. But here I'm just using the packaged version of Debian because I'm on two Debians. I haven't installed cargo, I think, on those. It doesn't matter really. You can choose whatever you want. I will put the command lines in the description below. So if you do apt install and du dust, if you remember, if you forget how it's called, you can do apt search and dust. And of course you will see too much, but I think at some point you will see, you see it here, dust. du plus rust equals dust. Yeah, that's quite clear. So that's what you want to install. So you install du-dust, and there we go. So it's installed. Now if I just run dust like this, it will give me some kind of a tree, and you see on the project page, actually I didn't show the project page, only shortly. So this is dust, du plus rust equals dust, and you have a demo here with just a picture, and it shows you how it looks like. So you basically have a tree, and you have the percentage of the sizes that have been used, the space that's being used on that directory or file system. And well, you see it's written in Rust. There are 66 contributors, so it's not that small, it's not that huge either, but it's still a very cool little package. It's not a huge thing, but you see how many, look at how many flags and options you have here. So we will use some of them. I don't want to go through all of this because it's too much. You can feel free to try them out, but it's pretty cool to filter stuff and to just check things that you want to check. But I just wanted to show you, I like to show the project pages. If you are a Rust developer, always contribute. This is some tooling, you know, this is open source, and it's always good to show open source stuff. My channel is mostly about open source things, I think almost exclusively. So, okay, let's go to that. So what we just did was just the basic dust. We can check the versions by doing dust v. So it's a relatively older version compared to what you would get with cargo, but it's fine for our purpose. We will just use a couple of things. So if you look at this one here, you should see that ncdu is the big one, right? It's 25 gigs because I recreated what I deleted in the previous video with ncdu. And with dust we are going to have a look at those things. So okay, now look, we are going to do dust, but only for a specific directory. I will specify in this case that I want home. Okay, I will just do it like this. I won't put the whole thing, but in my home directory, and I will go in ncdu test, which is the directory I created with a script filled with crap. By crap, I just mean fake files which are big but don't contain anything important. So I can just go in there and then I will see exactly what's in my ncdu -test directory. And you see I have a bunch of files that are mostly 2 gigabytes. I could see something similar in which I would be doing my ISA from before, using basically this. So ISA is another modern tool software I'm showing in another video. I invite you to have a look. You would see something a little bit similar in which you see also the sizes in a tree. But of course, look at this. It's much bigger, it's more tricky. Like you need to remember much more commands. You can of course use some aliases to make it simpler, but still I think Dust has this nice and presentation in which it's done without any flag, any option here. You just do this and boom, you see the tree with the sizes and the percentages, which is great, right? And then once you have this, you can also choose different options. For instance, you can pick the depth. If you want a depth of 2, you say option -d and 2. Then it will only show a depth of 2, like from ncdu test. Then you go one step further with media, for instance, here, and then you go to audio and movies. You see what I mean here, for instance, right? Like the top is here, it's top bottom. I don't know if you can reorder it properly. There must be an option, but yeah, you can make it different. And this is the top. This is first level and second level. So it will only go as far as 2 level if I use this command, the -2 -d 2. This is the first one I want to show. Now you can also show the full path. Full path can be interesting sometimes if we want to, for instance, copy the path later on. So you see, it will show you the whole path of everything. That's convenient. Maybe you want to just, let's say, for instance, I want to delete this one, but I don't want to go in ncdu. I just do this, rm, soup, and this one will be gone. You will see if I do again the dest p to chip, and it's gone, you see. This one was above the take B, now it's gone, there is only this one. So it makes things easy, right? The -p, -p is used for showing the full path. Now you can limit the output length, for instance. Let's say if the output is too long, you can make it like chuk. If you do n and then you say 10, I don't know, then you'll see it will just make it so that the length is not too big. Then you can also ignore, for instance, some noisy folders, like, I don't know, the cache folder or something. You would use dust x. I don't have that in this case, but yeah, you could do that. What you can do, which is pretty cool also, is you can also show some items above a certain threshold. For instance, if I do -z and you do 100 megabytes, or let's say, I will do it differently. I'll do, normally it should work with gigabyte like this. So if I do it like this normally, and also, of course, I need to specify my directory. I just did escape dot. If you're not aware, escape dot, escape period, will add the latest argument you've been using in the previous command line. So, yeah. And then you can go through them if you press it again. For instance, if I do this, it will show this, okay? So I don't want this, so I just want to do -z and then 1g, and then I do my tick, escape period, and I get my argument. And now I see only the files that are above the threshold. I won't see the smaller files, right? In this case, they're all big. But let's say, okay, let's say I will be a bit crazy. I'll do this to up, not like this. I'll do it like this, and I will have the full path. And let's say in this one, I want to create, I will touch, and I will touch a file like, let's go crazy. Okay, maybe not like this, but like this, okay? And I touch the file. Now, if I do this, it won't show up because I filter those that are above 1 gigabyte. But if I do this, then it should show up normally. And yet it doesn't. Where is it? Where was it I created that file? Let's be a bit crazy. I'm sorry, I'm making the video a bit longer, but I'm investigating something with you here. So if I do it like this, and I just copy it, but I copy it much smaller with the name. So, yeah, okay, here like this. And now let's do the dust again. This one. Do I see the file? Do I see the file in media, audio? No, it doesn't appear, you see? Interesting. So I need to add the N. That would be the one I need to add. And 200, let's say. And then it appears. Haha, interesting. This is interesting. You see, it wouldn't appear by default. So it might be that you need to add some depth to it, which is a funny thing, like this -n. Okay, it filtered by default, and if you make this number bigger, then it shows up. Okay, well, that's something I learned as well. But I mean, it's not something you will use every day, because mostly you're interested in those big files, right? Still, it's nice to know a bit in depth what's happening. So there is this one I was showing you, the minimum size. There must be also some maximum size, I suppose, maybe big Z or something. I don't know, but yeah, you see what I mean. So this one is nice, and it's a nice combination if you use this combined with different tools. So what I would say, as compared to ncdu that we saw in another video, and with duff that we saw also in another video, so ncdu is really for interactively checking files and deleting what you don't need. Duff is about having one command to show your file system nicely with percentages and colors. Let's say it replaces df-f. And what dust does is more something like du. Okay, maybe I have it somewhere. I think I have it somewhere here. Like if you do this, you see it will show you, like typically now I'm in this directory. So I'm asking it in this directory what is big, what's not. And I'm sorting it in human format, reverse I think or something. So this will, yeah, in reverse. I don't need the R actually, yeah, this is fine. And yeah, this is the typical example of where you would use du, but with Dust, you see it's much more in depth with, like, you have a tree, you have the percentages, you have the sizes as well, but it's much clearer with colors and so on, and you can change the colors. It's much more variable, and it also, one good thing with Rust is, like, if you're having a huge file system with a lot of directory and it's complex, it will be much quicker, like, because Rust is super quick and efficient, as with other tools, like for instance with ripgrep, and this happens with logs, for instance, for me, or whatever you're using, if you have big images or something. This can really save the day by the speed, just like simple productivity will rise, right? So this is it for today. I'm sorry for the little gap I had with searching for things. Sometimes I just let myself go with identifying a problem. But this is also good practice, like when you have something that's not working, you just dig into it. I should have prepared better that part. Sorry. But otherwise, this is a good presentation, I think, for Dust. And this is what you would use it for, like typically you go wherever you are. If I'm in a specific directory, it will give me very quickly what's in that directory, the percentages, and a little tree, which is equivalent again to the ISA format that I was using before. So if I would do like this, and then it shows up in this form, but in a much simpler way, without so many flags, so you don't have to think so much. I think it's just great. So I like that stuff. And also, if it's smaller and doesn't go full screen, I think you can also disable that thing where it goes in the software, where it takes the command line and you need to exit. But yeah, basically check out the project page, and for more information you will have plenty of IDs there with the flags, the options, and so on. But I think I did a good job in showing you what it does and what it's used for, and also how it could work in combination with ncdu and duff, which I suggest you to have a look at again. This is in my previous video. And combining those three, you really have good tools for file management and having a good idea of what's what and where. You can also, of course, use the ISA tool and the tree tool, but I think these are all different tools that you can use in different cases and needs. So it's good to have a good panel of good tools that are efficient and productive, and then you know what to use when. It can just make your life easier and quicker. So I hope you like this video, and I invite you to check my other videos as well. Have a nice day.